As many of you are aware by now from my previous video, Khalifa Haftar, a CIA operative, is now running the Libyan rebels inside the country. Now, what has just recently come to light is the fact that 3 former Al-Qaeda operatives are now working with him and working with the CIA to destabilize the oil-producing North African nation. An editorial in the Wall Street Journal describes how all 3 of these men used to work with Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. Previously, all 3 of them have been detained by U.S. forces. 1 or 2 have actually been detained at Guantanamo Bay, and by 2007, all 3 of them had been released to the Libyan government, where they continued to do some prison time in the country. But by 2008, all 3 of them were free and working with anti-Gaddafi forces. Abdel Hakim al-Hassadi, described as an influential Islamic preacher and high school teacher who spent 5 years at a training camp in eastern Afghanistan, and now oversees the recruitment, training, and deployment of about 300 fighters from Darna, a city in eastern Libya. Salah al-Bahrani, a former fighter from the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, or LIFG, who is Hassadi's field commander. Sufyan Bal-Kumu, a Libyan army veteran who worked for Osama bin Laden's holding company in Sudan and later for an Al-Qaeda-linked charity in Afghanistan, and who is training many of the city's rebel recruits. Hassadi and Kumu were both arrested in Pakistan not long after the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan in 2001. Hadsay was only held for 2 months, and Kumu was held in Guantanamo Bay until 2007. Eventually, both men were released without charges. I think this raises some serious questions about the supposed war on terror, the war on Al-Qaeda. Why are CIA assets working with known Al-Qaeda operatives? How does this work in the CIA's mind? There's some serious questions that need to be asked. If the entire war on terror is predicated on attacking Al-Qaeda and defeating it, why are known Al-Qaeda agents working with CIA operatives? A lot of questions have been raised, like, were they turned during their captivity by U.S. forces? Did they somehow convince them to go to the other side and work against radical Islam, but in real life actually working for U.S. imperialism? Well, there's some serious questions that need to be asked. In fact, there was a question raised at an Armed Services Committee, but by the, I can't remember his name offhand, but he was asked about it, and he said that he would answer it in a closed-door meetings outside of the public. So clearly the Pentagon is actually aware that these former Al-Qaeda operatives are working with the CIA and are not willing to speak publicly about it. In fact, the Wall Street Journal is about the only publication that has actually reported on this, at least in the Western media. I don't know if anybody in the UK has done any work on this, but it certainly does raise some serious questions about the supposed war on terror and its links to Al-Qaeda, when personally we already know that it's not about the war on terror. It's a war of imperialism using counterterrorism as a pretext for doing so. I think the fact that Al-Qaeda operatives are now working with the CIA certainly debunks the claim that it's actually about getting rid of terrorists when they're clearly working for the U.S. government. So I think even the most patriotic of people have to be able to start seeing this now.